Hello everybody, Angel Arts here, and welcome to session number 17 of Dragon Age Intervention, our Dragon Age RPG campaign. Hopefully Shally will be showing up later today. If not, it's all good. I'm sure we'll be able to catch her up for the next session. So we'll save the warm-up for when she appears, and let's go ahead and jump into the story. So you guys are leaving Orzammar, I believe. You've got your business taken care of. You were able to defeat Branka and end her reign of power. And said your farewells to Kyne, and you now have a new party member, it seems, in the form of Delwyn's sister, Sanaya. As well as sort of a new companion in Vicious Vic, sort of. Considering what happened to him.
He's grown.
I was thinking about talking about how and if we're going to tell the captain that we know that Delwyn is actually the source of all the sickness.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't do that. At least not until after we finish stuff.
Yeah. Fortunately, the captain has a soft spot for.
Yeah, that's good.
Soft spot or not, you have a feeling when she's the source of the death of several of her
unwittingly was the source.
She won't kill her immediately.
She might just throw off the ship or make her walk the plank, which Delwyn could survive.
Yeah.
We just have to appeal to her sense of honor.
Well, yeah, I think we should just be like. I think, yeah, I just agree it'd probably be best just to keep this under wraps. We have all the pieces we need. Now we just need to figure out how to use them, and...
Technically, once the captain drops you off in Kirkwall, she doesn't have to see you all again, technically.
I still don't think that the last thing she should know is the man she loved was also the death of...
I think love is a strong word.
Yeah, I think love is a strong word. I don't think there was necessarily love.
Okay, sorry.
Boy toy.
All right, the man that she was close to. That's as far as I'll go with it generously.
Okay.
The man she was close to is the death of.
Yeah. But our honor dictates that we should.
No. Our honor dictates that the last things that she thinks about is not, wow, I never should have helped those people, or else now people I know are dead.
You can't give a lie. Okay, anyway, we should.
It's not lying if you don't bring it up. It's not lying.
I mean, I understand that Delwyn's not here, but do you or do you not want to discuss this in character? Otherwise, hand-wavy. We might have to do a hand-wavy thing where you just avoid the issue. It's up to you what you guys want to do. I mean, if Shally's not here, she doesn't really have a say, so you guys can decide.
So I think
we should probably walk away from the campfire and talk amongst ourselves.
Oh god, we're stepping away from town.
If she's not here, she doesn't have a say. So.
Yeah. I could just see what this would be like though, in like an actual character thing. It's like, all right, so what about Delwyn? Huddle up and everything like that.
I think that actually would be a very realistic thing to do.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I could see that happening, and it's kind of sad. It makes me really sad.
Is it just going to be the three of you, and you're not going to involve Archer and Vic? And Sanaya has no idea what any of this stuff is going on, so you probably won't involve her either.
Archer and Vic should be involved because they will also infect it with it, and they would have to tell the captain too, so they need to be there.
So Sanaya and Delwyn is not present at all.
Yeah, they're off looking for firewood.
So while we're all back at the not lit fire yet.
No, the fire is up. They're looking for more wood.
All right.
They're looking for more. I mean, you're out in the snow, so dry wood out in the snow is kind of scarce. So you found some, but you're gonna need more. So they went off to get more.
Okay.
So look around. Do we need to address the elephant in the room?
I believe so.
Molten Man or...
They need to be here.
Well then. Vic, Archer, can you get over here, please?
Archer perks up, and he makes his way over to you guys. He's he's still recovering. I mean, he's strong enough that he can walk on his own, but you can tell that he'll need a couple more days before he is 100%. As for Vicious Vic, he's been getting used to his body, and when the floor still kind of shakes slightly when he walks over to you. It's muted a bit because of the snow, but when he gets over to you guys, he's like, "Oh, still gotta get used to this thing. Neat trick, though. I don't have to go to the bathroom anymore. There's something." Archer kind of sighs and shakes his head. Like, I didn't need to hear that.
Thank goodness he doesn't go to the restroom, there'd be lava.
Does Archer know about the curse? Did you guys tell him in the last episode? Last
I
session?
don't think anyone explained it to him.
No, I don't think I don't think there was ever a point where he was with us, because either we were out getting the volcanic whatever when he wasn't there, and then we were in the final battle and he wasn't there.
Yeah.
I would have
battle part
tell him something. I would have probably Renee would have probably set him up to let him know that we found where it's at, but we have other things to do right now, and I promise I'll let you know. And I'm sorry I can't let you know.
Okay.
No, so this will probably be the time he lets him know. So
Vic will say, "What about Delwyn and the warden chick?"
well, this regards Delwyn. This is a very important conversation, and you have both been affected by Delwyn's decisions.
Yeah, I figured. Archer looks confused.
We have, as you remember I mentioned to you before, we have found the source of the sickness, the pox.
He nods and he leans in, expectantly.
Unwittingly, Delwyn is the source of it for a pact he made with his blood magic.
Archer pulls back, processing this information. His brow furrows a little bit as he's thinking about it. He doesn't respond. Okay, I know he can't respond verbally, but he doesn't respond in the way that he like reacts to it right away. He's not really sure what to think of it.
It's like thinking.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can seem to do to reverse it, nor prevent it from happening again, as far as him just not using blood magic.
Well, there is one way to reverse it, but I don't think we'll go there just yet.
In particular, as we gathered, it's only the summoning of the spirit into the material plane that causes this pox to happen.
So just because he ends up using blood magic, period, doesn't necessarily mean somebody's going to get infected, Vic asks.
Yes.
Yes. Only if it's dire enough that it would save his life, then it seems like that would be what triggers it.
Okay.
This is way heavy on me, as I always tried to believe in that pragmatic road, that if it can help save more people's lives, then it could possibly endanger the one who is making that sacrifice. But it's caused so many other people around us to get sick.
Yeah. So, what are we gonna do? We're gonna tell the captain or what? She's probably gonna want to know.
That is something that I think we need to discuss here.
Vic, you're close to the captain. How do you think she'll react?
Oh, she'll be ticked. Oh, heck yeah, she'll be ticked. Honestly, I don't even know if she's necessarily gonna let Delwyn back on the ship.
That's better than some other things that I've imagined.
Wish I could sugarcoat it for you folks, but I'm not gonna mess with anyone who might pose a threat to the rest of the crew, especially now that we know. Archer kind of nods in agreement.
I believe we can talk her down if we need to. She's a smart woman. She hopefully will understand what is at stake.
The captain is someone that cares strongly about her crew, and a lot of people have been lost. I've tried to talk with her about it before, and the pox, and how it showed up around our time. I have
I
a
know
lot to
all
find
about
out. With the best we'll get is maybe one last voyage, if we're lucky.
Okay.
Well,
That's
that's
just what I think, so.
So as long as we don't put anyone in danger on the ship, then no one will be in danger of the pox.
Correct. So,
And
you
yet
know,
we're about to go back to our ship with who knows what we'll find with all those darkspawn crawling around.
fun times. Just wouldn't be us if it was easy.
Ugh. He rolls his head around. All right. So you're gonna tell her then? Because I'm not. No way.
I
It's
really
right.
don't know that.
It's the right thing to do.
How so?
I believe, as I said before, that she will realize that we need Delwyn. She will be pissed. She's not going to take this lightly, I'm sure. But as I said before, she's a smart woman. And I hope that her emotions will not get the better of her. Not if we talk her down.
But why not? Why not even just forego risking relying on her emotions and honor, and just
If she
get
were to
what we
find
need
out,
to do?
think of it this way: if it at all had to come out at any point, or any realization, or someone felt to need to say it, if it shows up again at any point, and someone felt the need to say it, then she finds out, we would all have been hiding it from her. And that is her crew. At this point, if I were in her position, if any of you were to be being taken this, and I did not know where it was coming from, and it was not Delwyn, I do not know what I would do to the people who have kept this from me.
I have lost my mother and my father thanks to this pox. My mother, because of it, because of the pox happened, and my father directly. And I have been able to keep my emotions in check. It was difficult, but I managed. I think she can as well, given some time.
Many of us have lost someone to this pox. And I can say from experience that knowing where it comes from and having lost someone myself to it, I'm willing to try to move past that, but it's not something that you just easily ask someone to do.
We don't ask her to forget. When this is over, I look over my shoulder. Who knows what will happen?
All right. I guess that's enough for me. How about you, Arch? Archer silently nods.
Our quest is almost over anyways, so hopefully normal people will be put at risk, and hopefully normal times will be needed to summon that thing. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
At some point, Sanaya is going to approach you, and she will ask, "Something on your mind, brother?"
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks troubling, whatever it is.
Well, let's just say that I am partly the reason we have a giant hulking golem with us, and we can leave it at that.
He doesn't seem particularly upset about his new state, though.
Well, I suppose that's at least one person who's not going to be upset with it.
You know, brother,
Hmm.
I forgave you a long time ago. And maybe it's time you start forgiving yourself. I don't think that you should forget all the things, all the mistakes that you've made. But I've reached the point, brother, when I was in the calling. The reason, as you probably know, the reason I was down in the deep roads is because it was time for me to spend my final days down there. When you reach this point in your life, you start reflecting back on the things that really mattered. And there are many things that you do your very best to make as few mistakes as possible, and of course that's impossible. The best you can do is to try to learn from the mistakes you've made, try not to make the same mistake twice, and forgive yourself in the process.
That's difficult advice to live by.
Never said it would be easy.
Well, that's true.
The difference is, brother, you still have more time to make amends. And I am going to be doing the best I can for what little time I have left. Maker knows it would have been nice if we were given this second chance sooner. But for a while I did not expect this chance to appear before me in the first place. And for that I suppose I should be grateful.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. You always know what to say.
She smiles for a little bit, and then she says, "And you always know when not to listen to me."
Yes, and it will be surprising to know that I'm going to take that little snippet of advice you've given to heart and actually probably do something with it, so...
I think you already have started to, though, brother. I've seen the way that you've been carrying yourself over the last couple of days. You are not the same Delwyn that I knew many years ago. There is something different about you now. And for better or worse, I think it's moving in the right direction.
Well, we can hope.
So we have the tools, we have the ingredients now. Once we get back to the ship, what did that scroll say for us to do with them again?
So,
Perform some sort of ritual.
just to give Gwenail more details. So Gwenail, you've been studying the ritual for quite some time, and once you have all of the items, the process of actually preparing the ritual is quite complicated and quite lengthy. Even if you were to execute everything perfectly, it would take several hours for you to prepare the ritual. The ritual also requires you to prepare it before an arcane circle seal, similar to the one that you saw back at Denerim Castle.
Right.
Fools.
Okay.
Once you have prepared the ritual, You need to
Please don't
let,
tell me this is going to take a lot of lyrium too, because that's going to be expensive.
once you have prepared the ritual, it needs to steep, is the best way I can describe it. It needs to steep for about 3 days. And then the portal into time will be open, and you will be able to utilize it to get back to your time. But this seal itself needs,
Right.
during those 3 days, the mage circle needs to remain undisturbed.
Oh, this
Ain't that ironic? We need a time portal, and it doesn't seem like we have enough time to use it. So is it? And I'm assuming DA, Dragon Age lore and all that. I'm assuming you can't just replicate an arcane circle.
Gwenail
Sure you
knows that.
can.
Sure, you can. Gwenail, several people,
can?
especially first enchanters, are able to create them. There's most circles of circle towers have them built in. Irving had one, for example. Are you going to give any of this information to the group, Gwenail?
Yes. I guess we'll move on to the next topic and talk about the ritual, since that's one of the last things we left off on and
Go
stuff.
ahead.
All right. So we have the ingredients. As I said, our journey is closing to an end. I've been doing a lot of research on the ritual. It'll take some time, even if we get everything set out and laid out, and the circle that we need, which is complex. We'll need a first enchanter or a tower to put that in. It will take 3 days.
Why a
to-
tower necessarily?
A circle tower. They have a lot of them have arcane circles for rituals and
Wait.
other such things.
Oh, you mean those things on the floor with the big squibbly things?
Yes, usually ancient Tivini or Elvish.
I'd hate to
Danish.
suggest it, he says, but you know someone who has one of those things? The champion of Kirkwall.
No.
really?
I'm just suggesting. I'm just throwing it out there.
I have not gone very far into the circle, but there's a circle there, right? So,
If you want to go there too, that's fine as well.
if they would let us use it.
Yeah, they would ask a lot of questions, and the champion of Kirk will already know our purpose. I do not like the man one bit.
I do not like talking to the man. Looks at Leilden. I do not like talking to the man.
Leilden is Leilden to say something?
As I'm looking at him after saying that.
Just, I don't. Just recap what just. We have to. Do we have to?
And not necessarily, but maybe if we decide to get the circle of the champion.
I know the
Instead of
captain is going to be anxious to take us back to Kirkwall as our first stop.
Yeah.
Whether or not she's
So-
going to let you get dropped off anywhere else after Kirkwall, I don't know. Especially if you tell her what you're going to tell her.
Right. He would definitely have the resources we need, but just our visit with him is going to be short. Agreed.
And I hate to say it, but Kirkwall is probably one of the safest places, at least for right now. It's one of the safest places in Thetis.
The safest and closest place.
Yes.
I mean, we could always go to one of the other lands, like Ravani or something. That's far enough from the Darkspawn incursion. But we don't have time for that. Ooh, time again.
Never simple, like you said.
Never.
I'd say we should take our chances with the champion. As I said, I don't like him, but hopefully he can give us time enough to give us a circle and give us enough time to use it.
The golem turns towards Lealden. Just make sure you don't mention you know what.
Agreed. I'll keep it well hidden as well.
Okay. So you guys end your conversation?
Quick question, actually, back to the ritual. Does ritual take need multiple mages or large amounts of lyrium? Because I know a lot of rituals in this setting require that. Because
Yeah, you'll
I read
probably
several
need you'll probably could use multiple mages to help speed the preparation process so you don't spend hours and hours. So if the more mages that are involved, skilled, they have to be. You can't just pull some mage from the circle. They need to be relatively skilled, high-level mages.
we can probably get some of the high-level mages from the tower, but that probably wouldn't yield too many.
From the Kirkwall Tower, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you can.
Let's see here. I know that sometimes large amounts of lyrium is a substitution for not having a lot of mages, but you can only go so far with either one of those in one direction.
Yes.
So,
lots of lyrium is probably going to be required, but you can imagine Kane has that.
Of course.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oh, by the way, I don't remember. Is Kane a mage or something?
Yep,
like that?
Kane's a mage.
Yeah, I thought so because that's why he has the tower all like freed open.
And he's not getting anywhere close to that circle. Nope. Nope.
One more time for emphasis.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Did it answer your question, Ray?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. So you guys, eventually Sanaya and Sanaya and Delwyn will return, and you guys will again take your turns keeping watch at camp. Gwenail, while you are sleeping, you start to hear a voice in your head while you're in deep sleep. It sounds like Nathan's voice.
Yep. Call it Nathan.
Gwenail, how is things going with you? Sorry, I've been busy. I haven't had time to reach you in your sleep, in our sleep.
A lot has happened. A lot of revelations have occurred.
Really now? I was gonna say that, well, pretty much the exact same thing.
Oh.
I've been having a really bad feeling.
It's not bad, it's just new information. I think we found out why this was all happening.
Is that so? Okay. You start.
Well, preparations repairing the ship have gone fairly well. We have had a few attacks, but nothing that we weren't able to manage, at least for the time being. Gotta say, Jody's barriers have been of huge help. That and the fact that the captain can invisibly go stealth from one main dark spawn to another to confuse them has also been extremely, extremely helpful. Anyway, part of the reason why I wasn't able to communicate with you in the last few days is because in my deep sleep, that woman, Morrigan, she came to me again. She told me that the reason... How well versed are you in demons, Gwenail? Do you know about all the different types? Obviously you're aware of pride demons,
Yes.
desire demons.
I was always diligent in my studies, but I know the main demons, but there are many unidentified ones that many demonologists have done research into. There is there's a demon of sloth, a demon of pride. He rattles off pretty much all the 7 deadly sin ones that they
Yes.
have.
Those are the main ones that are most known. There's another type of demon that I wasn't completely familiar with. I had heard of that type, but I can't say that I've ever encountered one before. It's they rarely appear because they spend a lot of their time hibernating, waiting for specific events, I should say, worldwide events to occur. Have you heard of the plague demon, Gwenail?
Plague demon. Should I make a roll for that?
Sure. Tell me what the value is. You can
Alright,
roll
so
relatively high, but I think you'll get it.
not a good roll, but I have a huge modifier, so 16.
Yeah, you've heard about plague demons.
I
You know that plague demons feed off of the sick, feed off of the inflicted. He will explain that to you, and he says the more powerful ones hibernate and wait for some catastrophic event that places millions and millions of people in a state of sickness. The blight being a perfect example. This blight, he says, was meant to happen later, I believe. For some reason, it ended up happening earlier than it did. And part of it is because the plague demon itself needed to feed in order to grow stronger. I don't know who the plague demon is, but Morrigan informed me that that is the person who actually started the ball rolling and caused this mess in the first place. Whoever he is, he needed this blight to happen, and he needed it to happen soon. And that's why he intervened. Had to drop that word in there somehow. Yeah, there was an intervention.
Title drop. Okay. Anyways, my thoughts as character. Bloody Irish demon. Anyways.
I beg your pardon?
I wasn't in character, like I
Oh,
said.
okay.
Oh.
But what was the name of that demon's name?
Justiel.
Bloody Justiel.
I beg your pardon?
Alnus. As you're where the pox may be coming from, I know how it's been getting around. As I don't know how to say this. You know how blood magic works, right? I mean, the basic of it.
The basics, yes.
You can't contract us with a certain demon. It turns out, unwittingly, the demon that Delwyn has been in contact with has been using the plague, maybe a plague demon, or has been using plague demon magic. And every time Delwyn has summoned this demon, Justiel, Susie Multiplane, he feeds on the sick by putting out the pox.
That makes sense, he says. Now it's all starting to come together. I was wondering how the pox fit into this whole thing. It couldn't just be coincidence that it kept appearing. So what are you going to do about Delwyn then?
That's another kind of worms. But our quest is almost over. We'll need... He has been lots of help. We do need him.
He's also the only one who can summon him, right?
To the best of my knowledge, I have only the foggiest idea of how blood magic works. I don't know if demons have multiple contacts. I mean, I know it's spirit magic. The spirit will call to anyone who has the ability to call to them, and with a spirit healing, they will come to anyone who can beckon them and they find worthy to help them. So maybe it's the same for Justeel as well, or maybe they are particularly bound to one person for more power and consistency.
I'm not exactly sure, he says. I was going to suggest, I was going to suggest, why don't we just have Delwyn summon him and just slay him then and there, but something tells me he's a little too smart for that. I don't think he'll necessarily come just because Delwyn calls him.
We have tried this, and we have paid for it. We needed answers. We summoned the demon. We talked to him, and I tried to use Avelinus and Hope to subdue the demon. He is strong, even for a spirit of hope, to try to slay. We were not able to stop
strong
him.
now, but he not necessarily. But before the blight even started, he's going to be significantly weaker.
That's a good point. How would the demons be affected by time? The Fade works in a different way outside of our own time.
I don't think time works the same way on spirits and demons because they're not of our same plane, is what I can understand from what Morgan has been telling me. However,
So,
that
with the
doesn't mean that if he hadn't started feeding since the blight started, that doesn't mean that he wouldn't be weaker. If you did go back in time.
See, that's brilliant. That's okay. So all we do is if we get back into time and summon him to the plane where there is less sickness, he will be weaker, and then we can strike through.
You'd have to find him, though. You'd have to figure out the point when he was released initially.
Yes.
When exactly did Justeel get released, and where did he end up with? Where did he end up going? That, I think, is the key.
That is so brilliant, I can kiss you.
I see Logan grinning.
Someone.
I see Logan grinning.
So I was thinking someone ships it.
A little bit of ship cheese there for the people who ship Nathan and Nathan and Grenale. Anyways.
I can't hold this connection that much longer. The captain says that tomorrow morning we're actually going to be able to take off. She asked me to let you know that we will come and pick you up. Where exactly are you now?
I described the area and about where it's at. Probably about like mathematical clicks type of thing too.
I think we'll be able to figure it out. Just have Vic fire a flare at approximately, I think the captain said.
Oh
noon?
Yes, about.
Or actually, I'm sorry. That would be 9 a.m. Have him fire a flare around 9 a.m. and keep firing after every 10-minute intervals, is I believe what she told me.
Oh, but tell the captain, prepare to see something a bit surprising with Victor. Yes.
Sure. I'll do that.
You should prepare too. As I said, there was summoning of the demon and that had caused the sickness, but we have handled it in an interesting way.
Very well. His voice starts to fade and says, I have to go, Grenale. We'll talk tomorrow morning. Sleep well.
You as well.
Okay.
Later.
Next morning rolls around, because this is all happening in your sleep. Next morning rolls around. You're not exactly sure when you had that conversation, but it happened at some point during your sleep. You wake up and you see that Archer has returned. He's carrying behind him, it looks like some squirrels, and he's starting to cook it for breakfast. Cook the squirrels for breakfast.
I'll just have some nice rations, thank you.
Lealden, when you wake up to Vicious Vic, the golem, staring at you.
Now I know why these names
Morning,
are all
sunshine, Vicious Vic says.
Good morning.
Blaming golem over you.
What did you?
Yeah, this is
A little
It's like
awkward.
you're
It's a little
up
awkward. He's just
early.
sitting there staring at you. Essentially,
yeah. I'm just kind of like gonna be like, hi. It's early more for me to be doing my deep voice.
he says.
Vicious, I'm watching you sleep. Creepy.
You know, you bite your nails while you're asleep. Vicious Vic asks. Sorry, he says, as you know, now that I'm a golem, I don't need sleep, and, well, you guys are probably the most interesting things for me to watch. You start to feel the creepiness coming a little bit more and more.
Just not good plan.
Did you take turns, or was it just me this night? The night.
Says, if it seems like one of you guys do anything interesting in your sleep, then I might turn my attention to them. Sometimes I count your snores.
Okay.
Cornell talks in his sleep, apparently.
Yes. Yeah. The scholar over there, he tends to mumble in his sleep a lot. Not really surprising.
Did he say anything interesting?
Couldn't really hear what he was saying.
His own illusion.
Probably an illusion, yeah. Max is the most boring when he sleeps, though. I wouldn't recommend it.
Oh. Thanks for the tip. I will. So I'm gonna start walking over here with my legs now. So,
Where's my leg? This is the best party banter ever.
yes, bring it to you.
Grinnell and Maximilian are up. What do you guys do?
Not eating
I
slow.
have a discussion with him saying, all right, I think we need to put locks on our doors when we get back to the ship. No reason, just that's my recommendation.
I'm just going to check the perimeter and see that we're safe and stuff like that.
Okay. Grinnell, are you doing anything?
Yeah, probably studying, reading, stuff like that. Eating rations instead of squirrel.
Are you going to
Scholarly
inform Vic of what Nathan told you to inform him of?
Oh yes, I almost forgot about that. Yes, so if everyone's awake, I would relay the information.
How do you know they're done with the ship?
Nathan can communicate to me by dreams.
Really now? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I suppose after being turned into a golem, nothing really surprises me anymore. Alright, I'll send the flare. He goes into his pack and he pulls out this tiny little flare compared to him.
Well,
Maybe you should do this, as he hands it to you. You fire a flare up. After about 5 minutes, you hear a whirring as the Tempest Dream comes ahead, flies up above you. A ladder gets thrown down to your camp, and several of the crew are looking over the ship down to you, and they're pointing at the big golem person that's with you.
Oh yeah, we maybe should have talked about this before the curse thing.
I made mention of it, but I did not have time to go into detail. So the captain is ready for a surprise.
They better not just drop a rope down.
I also lean over to the little bit closer. I also kind of wanted to see her face.
Vicious Vic, being the not so subtle person that he is, he's like waving his arms around like, "Hey fellas, look at me! Look at me!" Several of the crew members are pointing at him, and they all look really shocked.
Use a telescope. I want to see the faces, dang it.
Yeah, they all look really shocked. And
They better not put on a rope and think that'll do it.
do you guys start climbing the rope?
I'm thinking they should have the whole ship down for.
Yeah, Vicious Vic, when he
Climb up the
tries
tiny
to
rope.
climb up the rope, the ship tilts slightly. Slightly.
Okay, wait. We'll just have them bring it down.
The ship will get lowered, and they will actually drop the lift that is used to pull up cargo, as well as the lift that was used to actually bring up the animals onto the ship in the first place. Vicious Vic, he's a bit tall inside the ship. He has to actually hunch down while he's in the lower deck, and his girth, he actually fills up almost the entire hallway. So people can't really squeeze around him as he's going through. The crew are all asking him questions, and Vic says, it's all right, still me, just bigger and badder, he says.
And hotter.
That's right, what Scholar said.
I will never get tired of that joke, I'm sorry.
When you guys get up on the top of the ship, the captain is waiting for you. She has her arms folded. And she's got her fingers, curling up around her arm, and she's not really tapping her foot, but you feel like she would if she felt like that wouldn't be a little bit over the top. If it was, that wouldn't be a little over the top. So, so our heroes have returned, she says.
Yes, good morning, Captain. Thanks for picking us up.
My crew informed me that in addition to another companion, you guys have been busy with my first mate.
Oh, I'm surprised you're surprised. I mean, something like this always happens when we go out.
Yes.
Always something new.
Yes, but normally those kind of somethings happen to you and not necessarily to members of my original crew.
Well, I never really liked Vic that much, so I thought he needed an upgrade.
Explain to me exactly what happened to him and why.
This, believe it or not, this was, at the time, the only option we had to save his life.
The captain says, so you ran into Darkspawn and you got overwhelmed?
Well, perhaps we could discuss this in private, Captain.
Yes.
I don't like where this
Everything
is
would be good.
going, she says.
You won't like what we have to say, but you need to know.
Very well. Let's go into the meeting room. So the three of you will go into the meeting room.
Yeah, I just taking a deep breath and just looking over my shoulder to Gwinnale and like, here goes.
Okay?
Yes. Would we leave out the Delwyn again?
Yeah, he's probably busy.
He's probably busy.
With his...
Yeah.
It's always
Anyways.
Making sure
Also,
that all the crewmen don't start hitting on his sister. Because she's pretty as well. I'm sorry. So
quickly, I know why everyone keeps on mixing up these names. We all have, except for Maximilian, have ELs in our names. It's Lilden, Delwyn, Gwinnale.
yeah,
It's
their names are
really
relatively
didn't
similar.
plan this.
Very possible.
Huh?
We didn't even plan this.
No.
So you guys go in. The captain opens a cabinet. She pulls out a glass and a bottle. She pours it for herself, sits back down, takes a sip. All right. What do you have to report? She asks. Takes a sip.
It's gotta be me, does it then? Okay. We were successful in retrieving the final ingredient from Orzammar.
Well, we'll thank the maker, she says. I was worried that you said you came empty-handed.
No, I take it out and show.
We're in a private meeting, though. You can't do that.
No, the three of you
Are
are
we?
there.
I
The
don't.
three of you are there.
We're all three. Okay, I thought it was. Thank God. I thought this was one-on-one. I have to be the one who brings it.
No.
No.
Great, excellent. So, what's the problem? What does this have to do with Vic being transformed into a golem?
Well, the simple truth is that Vic and Archer both got sick with the pox.
Mhm. Archer looks fine, though.
Arthur,
The
We were
transfusion
able to,
was a success.
yes.
Well done, Scholar.
Thank you.
And for Vic,
He was dwarvish and unmatching in blood. The only way we could figure to save him was to turn him into the golem.
the captain curses under her breath. And she says, "Where in the world is this pox coming from?
Delwyn,
We had... I beg your pardon." She places her glass down, and she was sitting, and then she stands up. She gets up behind the table, and she stands up, and she says, "Delwyn is responsible for the pox?"
Not exactly, but yes. Darwin is a blood mage. And unwittingly, she has, when she would, on extreme moments, call upon the demon she had made a pact with, and to the mortal plane, it would unleash the pox.
The captain, her face starts growing red. You can see like her temples, like some veins starting to pop. Her fists start to she squeezes her fists on the table. And it looks like she's about to say something, but she's trying really hard not to say anything just yet. She seems to be really upset.
Captain, those feelings you're feeling right now, I've experienced them as well. Trust me. I wanted nothing more than to burrow my sword in his stomach when I found out. That demon killed many people precious to me. But we have to look at the bigger picture here.
What bigger picture? She says. Members of my family have died because of what Delwyn had done, because of Delwyn's recklessness.
Yes, that's true.
I believe we've all lost someone due to the pox. I start like touching the mirror and through the cloth.
Convince me why I should allow Delwyn to remain on the ship. Quickly, she says.
Because we are almost through with our mission. And there's a chance that this can all be turned around.
Yes.
He's a
If anyone-
powerful blood mage. We could need him in the final battle. When it is done, we'll see what happens.
And at what cost, guardsmen?
At every cost.
Out of character, I think we should also mention that if he's a blood mage, we would need him for the ritual, since we would need mages.
Yeah. The more mages on hand, the better as well.
I will gladly lay down my life for this quest. As should you, Captain. This is about more than just the two of us, or Delwyn, or blood magic. You don't have to like it. I don't like it one bit.
I definitely don't. At all.
I understand. And you have all the right in the world to be upset. Especially after the... I'm not gonna finish that sentence.
The captain looks at you, Maximilian, and she says the exact same words that you said to Delwyn. It better be worth it, guardsmen. It better be worth it.
It will be.
I am telling the crew that we are setting off to Kirkwall. Once we drop you off, our contract is done. You will no longer be a crew on the Tempest Dream. That is all that I can promise.
I was afraid.
I'd like to thank you for your services, nevertheless. You have been a good companion.
I have no personal issue with you at all, guardsman. Nor you, scholar. And then she turns to Lealden. Nor you.
What do you think? What do you think you'll be heading off to after you leave Kirkwall?
I'm not sure, she says. Honestly, it would be nice if we could go back and continue what we were doing before we met you all in the first place. But only time will tell. Is that all that you have to inform me?
Yes. That is all.
Yes. Thank you for your thank you for your help.
The whole time, by the way, after the whole worth it line and stuff like that, I imagine Gwinnell's been kind of looking to the side downward like this and stuff like that, and maybe like holding his arm or something like that. Think and kind of a thought and stuff, and would look back up when she would address him.
The captain is going to say, I have agreed to keep Delwyn here, but to be perfectly honest, it should not be completely my call. You realize that I owe it to my crewmen to inform them of what's happening on this ship. If the crew as a whole decides to allow Delwyn to remain on the ship, he will remain. If the crew decides that Delwyn should not, then we will leave him here. I will leave it up to the men.
Very well.
Regardless, the three of you will be allowed to stay with us to Kirkwall.
Thank you.
At that point, the captain will then inform the crew that she needs to speak with them all immediately before they set sail for Kirkwall. The captain will have you all gathered.
I wanted to have him because there's something that Gwinnell wants to say to the captain.
Sure.
Because she talked to him about the pox in particular. So
do you need to tell her before or after her announcement?
Imagine she calling them into the room there. Did we leave or what are they doing while we stood in there?
Sure. If you need to tell her right away, then go ahead and tell her before she calls everyone.
Captain.
Yes, scholar.
Removes his hand from his arm and looks up. Captain, you talked to me back when about the pox and how it showed up around when we arrived on the ship. I was hoping it was only chance, and I told myself that it was. Unwittingly, I have lied to you, even though I had a sinking feeling that it could be true. I just wanted to try to turn things around and make things right. I'm supposed to be a healer. I am supposed to save people. And because I kept on turning a blind eye to the truth, I have allowed so much of your crew to be hurt. And I know you are allowing this, and I thank you. But I need to apologize for that, because I have failed as my duties as a healer. I have failed when I promised that I would help you.
The captain sits back down into her seat. She rubs her eyes a bit. And when she looks up again, it looks like her eyes are a little misty-eyed. She says, "It is I who needs to apologize to the rest of my crew," she says. "You have to understand, scholar. Despite my best judgment, I have been stretching myself this entire time, allowing you all to do what you wish, take you to wherever you wish, all in the name of this mission. And it has cost my crew their lives and their well-being. I too had a feeling that the source of this pox had something to do with your group, and yet I kept you on this ship because I wanted to believe that what we were doing was worth it. And with every single thing that's been happening lately, it's getting harder and harder to hold on to that hope.
Oh,
Can you honestly look me in the eye and tell me that when you complete this ritual that everything is just magically going to be fixed with a wave of your wand or a wave of your hand? I very much doubt that you can promise me that.
his eyes widen. He looks down to the side, looks back at it, and looks nice. I'm sorry.
We're both delving with things that are unknown, and all of us are a little in over our heads.
Right.
At the end of the day, we all have to deal with the consequences of our choices. For better or for worse. And hope that it doesn't destroy us in the process.
We hold on to hope and move forward. Again, I'm sorry, though.
I accept your apology. I have a feeling that one way or another, this is all going to end soon.
Indeed.
You're dismissed, Scholar.
Thank you.
You leave